Oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. The Gulf of Mexico is going to be renamed the Gulf of America, as Donald Trump has ordained.
We're going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which has a beautiful ring that covers a lot of territory. The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name. And it's appropriate.
Yeah, Donald Trump, when he becomes president, has this massive plan to expand the United States of America's global footprint. He's talked about purchasing Greenland from Denmark. He's talked about annexing Canada as the 51st state. He's talked about taking back the Panama Canal, which, let's be honest, we never should have given away in the first place. And now he wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico to be the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
And in the 24 hours or so since Donald Trump just dropped this bomb on the entire world that he was going to rename one of the largest and most important bodies of water on the planet, a lot of people have been asking, wait a minute, can Donald Trump actually rename the Gulf of Mexico? And it turns out that, yeah, probs, he can do it. I mean, he's Donald Trump. He can do whatever he wants. But when you look into the history of something like the Gulf of Mexico and how it's been named, it was named basically because, well, it's right there next to Mexico. In fact, here's the United States of America, and here's Mexico, and here's the Gulf. If you look at it and I'm not taking any accurate measurements. I'm not out there surveying. I'm just looking at the map. It appears that you've got 5 states. 5 states, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas. I believe that's 5 that border the Gulf of Mexico. And here you've got, well, Mexico's got a bunch of states too. But if you look just at if you eyeball it, it appears that while it's very close, the United States of America does share more of the coastline than the Gulf of Mexico. Also, the United States of America has a lot of oil drilling there. They have a lot of, there's a lot of naval bases and shipyards around the Gulf of Mexico. And I would say that pound for pound, dollar for dollar, most of the wealth that flows in and out of the Gulf of Mexico belongs to the United States of America. So Donald Trump is like, look, not only does it sound better than the Gulf of Mexico, but the Gulf of America is more appropriate because basically it's ours. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the representative from Georgia, has just introduced legislation to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America officially. In fact, she had this out like ready to go. Donald Trump did his press conference. He dropped the bomb about the Gulf of America and boom, she's got legislation all written up. And she wrote on X, Mexican cartels currently use the Gulf of Mexico to traffic humans, drugs, weapons, and God knows what else, while the Mexican government allows them to do it. The American people are footing the bill to protect and secure the maritime waters for commerce to be conducted. Our U.S. Armed Forces protect the area from any military threats from foreign countries. It's our Gulf. The rightful name is the Gulf of America, and it's what the entire world should refer to it as. As soon as President Trump made his announcement, I directed my staff to get the bill drafted. We already have the bill written with legislative counsel and ready to file first thing Thursday morning. Congress has to take the Trump agenda mandate seriously, and that means acting fast to enact it. Now, the bill, I'm going to be honest with you, it's my kind of bill. It's like 2 pages, not even. Be it enacted by the House and Senate, by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America and Congress assembled. This act may be cited as the Gulf of America Act of 2025. Renaming the Gulf of Mexico shall be known as the Gulf of America. Any reference in a law, map, regulation, document, paper, or other record of the United States to the Gulf of Mexico shall be deemed to be a reference to the Gulf of America. This is really huge. This is really exciting. And this is something, again, that begs the question, is it at all possible? And one of the things that people don't realize, or maybe they do, but they don't think about it, is there's a lot of geographical locations around the world that are referred to differently by different countries. For example, we call it the Gulf of Mexico now. In Mexico, they call it El Golfo de Mexico, which, loosely translated is the Gulf of Mexico. But for example, Taiwan calls themselves Taiwan and believes themselves to be an independent country. But China has never acknowledged that Taiwan is an independent country, and they continue to call them Taipei. They call it Taipei. China is the actual official address of Taiwan if you're in China. If you're in Taiwan, it's Taiwan. And that has been a huge point of contention for, forever. In Ukraine, they call Ukraine, Ukraine. In Russia, Putin calls Ukraine Russia. And there's been a war raging on for years because Russia wants Ukraine to be part of Russia again, and Ukraine wants to keep calling itself Ukraine. In New York City, the East River is referred to by many Manhattanites as the East River, but the mafia calls it the cemetery. I'm not going to get into why. So a lot of these things change geographically from country to country, and we could call the Gulf of Mexico whatever it is we want. If the legislation passes, if Donald Trump's agenda gets through, then you will no longer be visiting the Gulf of Mexico. You'll be driving down to Florida or driving down to Louisiana or Texas, and you'll be kicking back with your toes in the sand, cracking open a cold one, and watching the sun set over the Gulf of America, which Donald Trump feels is the rightful name of said body of water.
The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
I wonder if when he takes back the Panama Canal, if he's going to keep the name intact or if there's going to be a motion to rename it the America Canal. Because I'm going to be honest with you, the squatters get all the rights. If he takes over Greenland, is it going to be called Greenland or America Land? I mean, these are all questions. But the idea behind all of this and Donald Trump's statements and these acts of Congress that Marjorie Taylor Greene and others are going to be filing, I'm sure, over and over and over again over the next 4 years are important because they erase the last 4 years of what's been going on in this country, which is America has been taken advantage of. Joe Biden has been a weak leader ever since the Afghanistan withdrawal, which was a debacle. Every country in the world knows that we don't have a serious leader in charge of our military. We don't have somebody who's going to draw a line in the sand and stick with it. We don't have somebody who's going to look to make America great again and expand America's dominance globally. We have somebody who's just going to use the office to benefit themselves, keep their family out of trouble, and just, scoop up as much free Jenny's chocolate chip ice cream as he possibly can before his time is up. But Donald Trump means business. He's serious. He wants Greenland for strategic purposes. He wants Canada for economic purposes. He wants the Panama Canal because he wants to keep China from controlling our military passage from the Pacific to the Atlantic and vice versa. And now he wants the Gulf of America too. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm prepared. I've already created myself an official Gulf of America t-shirt. And if you want one, I'll send one to you. There's multiple different colors. There's the Gulf of America in white, in yellow, in this beautiful pink, if you're like a pink kind of person. Also, I know a lot of people are dark mode, so we made a dark mode version in dark navy blue. There's a black one as well, if you prefer. There's this heather gray, which is lovely. And if you'd like one of these Gulf of America t-shirts, and oh, by the way, well, since it's cold outside, we also made hoodies. We feel you. We know that it's the middle of winter. You can celebrate. You keep warm. Prepare for the coming vacation. Prepare for your upcoming vacation in the newly crowned Gulf of America with one of these beautiful, high quality and comfortable Gulf of America hoodies. And again, we do both the light mode and the dark mode around here because we know different strokes for different folks. If you'd like to get one, just go to markshop.com. There's a link in the description of this video. You may actually see the hoodies themselves underneath, and you can just click on that and get one. And I will see you there together as we sit in our beach chairs, looking out over the glistening water, raising our cans of PBR and toasting to Donald Trump and the Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America, what a beautiful name.
If you enjoyed even like a fraction of this video, do both of us a favor, hit like, subscribe, and set those notifications so that you can get notified every single time we post new content, and we post new content all the time, like all the time. Like, subscribe, set those notifications. Do it right now.